Hi guys, so today we're here to talk about the Athena palette from the Hush website. This is from Bad Habit, and I'm assuming that it's supposed to be like the palette from Huda Beauty. I believe the newer one that just came out. I haven't tried that particular palette. I personally didn't want to spend the $65 to get that palette, so I decided when these ones came out and I seen people do some reviews on them, I decided $12 was not bad to spend on a palette. If it didn't work out for me, I wasn't out $65. So I picked up the Athena after watching people say how good this was, and I'm super impressed with it, guys. So you get 18 different shadows in this palette, all similar to the ones in the new Huda Beauty palette. You do get a full glitter, and then you get shimmers, and the rest of them are mattes. So I will do some swatches for you if you would like to see what those look like, and then we'll go ahead and get to the looks. I did two different looks. I did a daytime look and a nighttime look. Now is a nighttime look. Both of them are pretty dark. I like to wear dark looks, but I figured I'd show you how this shadow palette works doing two different looks. I was unable to use the glitter in this palette today. My daughter took my glitter glue, so I was not able to demonstrate that, but I'm assuming that it works just as well as the rest of the shadows do. So I'm just gonna go ahead and swatch them down the line from top to bottom. That way you can see them. I'm not going to call out the name colors because that just takes forever, and these are just going to be finger swatches. Here's the first row here of 4, and then I have 2 more on that line to do. Those are what those look like here, and I'm very lightly swatching these, so I'm not getting like a lot of pigment on my fingers. Here's the next 2 in the row there. Those are what those look like. You can definitely build them up. As you can see, my eyeshadow look is very pigmented. I have no issues with that at all. They are very pigmented. The next 4 in the shadows there are those. This is what those look like. They're all like really shiny and really pretty. They're very soft. As you can see when I stuck my finger in there, this shadow here is kind of, you know, falling apart a little bit, so you got to be careful. They're really nice quality, but because of the softness of them, they tend to fall apart and have a little bit of kickback, so you got to be careful with that. So then here's the last 2. This is what those look like. There's the swatches of those. There we go. And then the last 6, including the glitter that's in there. So let's see here. I'm just gonna press my finger in the glitter because it's just glitter. It's like really loose pigment glitter. And then there's the glitter, and then here's the last one. So the glitter doesn't have much of a binder in it, so it's pretty much just a full glitter. You definitely need a glitter glue with it or something to bind it to your eye, or else you're gonna have glitter everywhere. I did find that there was a little bit of fallout with this palette, but it pretty much brushed away really quick, which I'm really excited about. These are really nice shadows for $12. I would say run out and get this. If you haven't shopped on Hush yet, I would definitely try this palette if you're interested in the Huda Beauty one and didn't want to spend the $65. I believe it was $65 or $69. It was an outrageously priced palette. But these are really pretty. I'm super excited to get this. The packaging on this palette is really nice and sleek. It also is cruelty free, which is really nice. The brand that this is from Bad Habit, so go ahead and check it out. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the 2 looks, and then I shall talk to you guys later. Bye! First color we're gonna go into is gonna be Velour, which is going to be this color here in the palette. We're gonna use that as a transition, and we're gonna use that on a Morphe 441. These are definitely powdery when you put your brush in there, so be aware of that. Right into the transition first, and we're going to use that Velour as a transition color. I'm just going to hold my brush at the very tip of the brush, to blend out as evenly as I can. You do not need to dig your brush into this palette. It's very creamy and very pigmented and very powdery, so just use this palette with caution like you would any other high-end palette. The next color we're going to go into is going to be Heroic, which is going to be this end color here. Same brush, just barely tapping my brush in the palette, As you can see, it does pull up some powder there when I tap it in there, so you want to be aware of that. We're going to go ahead and put that right in the outer V. That is a very pigmented color, and I barely even grabbed any. So far I'm super impressed with this palette. Yeah, that's very pigmented. It doesn't take very much to blend out these shadows, which is really nice. So, alright. I'm going to go ahead and switch my brush real quick. And I'm going to take one of the glimmer shadows in here. I haven't used any of these yet. I think this is called Medusa. And that's the one we're going to go into next here for the glitter. And I'm going to take a flat shader brush from Bodyography. If you don't know, I always put all the information for the brushes that I've used down in the description if you're interested in either purchasing them or knowing which one I've used. That way you can check them out. So I just grabbed a little bit of that color there. I'm going to start pressing it. Oh my gosh, these are awesome. That is really pretty. Just going to press it here. That's really pretty. I would assume if you wet your brush, you'd get a very big, you would get more of a definition of this color, more shine off of this color, but I'm just doing it with a bare brush, no wetting at all. I'm gonna go into my Morphe 507. It's just a small little brush. I think I'm gonna go into Clover, which is gonna be this one here. I think that's called Clover. Clover, yes. Which is gonna be the brown here, the bottom. I'm gonna define the outer V here with that darker color. There's a little bit of fallout on my face, so be aware of that. If you just like fallout, you're going to want to put powder on your face if you have foundation on first, or you're going to want to do your foundation after you put the shadows on. Let's just go ahead and brush that away. Okay, it brushes away really nicely, so there isn't any problem with that. But okay, that's what that looks like. I'm just going to take that color in just a little bit. Just whatever is left on the brush. Alright, and I think that I want to make the shadow pop a little bit, so I'm going to grab that Medusa again on my brush, and I am going to take some Max Fix Plus and see how that works with that. See if it does anything special. Yep, it certainly does. Definitely brings out the shadow a little bit more. So that is a very simple look that you can do with this eyeshadow palette. This is going to be like an everyday look that I would wear to work. I don't know about you guys, but I like kind of, you know, simple but a little bit bolder. So I think that's a really, really pretty look. I'm going to go ahead and take that Clover again on that Morphe, small Morphe brush, and then just run it under my eyes here. I'm going to take the color Velour again and just run it on top of the eye to smooth out that line. And that's the first color we used and the first brush that I used, the 441 from Morphe. So I'm going to go ahead and go put liner and all that on, show you what the finished look looks like, and then I'll come back and we'll do a more bright, you know, over the top look. Alright, and here is the finished look. I think it came out really pretty. I put on some really bold lashes from Pure. You could totally put on some really small lashes or just mascara to get a daytime look with this look, because it's not very dark. As you can see, it's kind of, you know, subtle, but something that you can do with this palette. So let's go ahead and get on to nighttime look. We'll be right back with that one, guys. Alright guys, second look using Athena from Bad Habit. I've already primed my eyes, so let's go right into the colors. I'm going to go ahead and set my eyes this time, and I'm going to be using a clean brush from Morphe 441, and we're going to go ahead and go into Purity right here to set the eyeshadow primer. All the way up top. I'm going to set the whole eye with that. Next we're going to go in with the color Truth, which is going to be this one here. We're going to use that as a transition. We're going to use the same brush, the 441, just grab a little bit of that, and we're going to use that as a transition. Lightly pressing that in the eye, holding the brush at the very tip like I normally do when I start with my transitions, is to see what the color pigment's going to be like and to make sure that I'm not overdoing it. I'm going to take another brush from Morphe. It's going to be the Aamyie 507, which is the small to tip brush. We're going to go into the color Power, which is going to be this red color here. I don't need to pick up too much. Honestly, I'm just rolling my brush on the shadow just like this. I'm barely touching it and just rolling my brush on the shadow like that just to get a little bit off there. I don't want too much. Go right into the crease. See what this color does. Oh, that's pretty. I'm gonna run it back and forth like windshield motions in the crease. I'm going to take the excess and put it in the corner here. A little bit of that color goes a long way, guys. And then the rest of it here in the outer corner. So in the outer corner, like a halo, just like that. A little pointed brush is amazing. I'll definitely link it down below. It just helps you get right into the creases where you need it. So there's where we want to be, just like that. The next color we're going to go into is going to be Clover, which is going to be the brown that we used in the first palette, first color. I'm just going to roll my brush on there. We're going to be using the same brush from Morphe. Take that right out here on the outer V. Just work it in circles, small little circles, up into the outer V. Just to deepen that color there. This one does have a little bit of fallout. I noticed that with the last time we used it. So just be aware. You'll keep the brush next to you. That way you can get those, get that fallout out. But it's a pretty color. Just keep on blending that in there. That's pretty. So, all right, that's where we want to be. I'm gonna go ahead and grab just a little bit more of that Clover and just kind of just put a little bit here in the corners. Just a little bit, not too much. Now we're gonna go in with some glitter glue, which I still hope I have, or I hope my daughter did not take it. I was gonna use the glitter, but my daughter took my glitter glue. So we're gonna go in with the color Cannon, which is gonna be this goldy silvery color here, goldy pinky color here. It looks kind of pink on the camera, but it has more of a gold tint to it in the pan. So it has like a pink shift to it. Put that right in the center. I did want to use the glitter in this look, but I won't be able to because I don't have the glitter glue and I don't want it to be all weird looking. But anyway, that shadow is really pretty. Alright, we're going to go back into that small Morphe brush, go back into the color Clover, and just add a little bit more. Go back into that bigger Morphe brush that we used earlier, the 441. Go back into Velour, which is the light color that we used. Blend those lines out. Alright, back into the color Power, which is that red color that we used. And just a little bit. Okay, go back into Purity, which is the light color we used to set. Bring that up on the brow bone. With a Morphe 433. Back into that small blending brush with Clover. Okay, that's what it looks like. Alright, and here is how the second look turned out. This time I'm wearing some lashes from Social Eye, and these are called Desiree. So this is what those ones look like. I believe I got those from Sherri Ward. So, okay, so here's what it looks like. Out zoom. All right.